Hello and welcome to another episode of the Raising Musos podcast, where we talk about all things related to music education to empower parents who have children learning music. And my name is Eliza. I'm the director of Music Makers Academy. We're a music school in Joondalup, Western Australia. And today is the fourth and final episode in our Flute Mini-Series. Throughout these last three episodes, I've been having, so Jensen has joined as he's a flute player and he knows a lot more about flute than I ever will. So thanks again for joining us.
No worries.
So if you haven't listened to the last three episodes, I highly recommend that you do. In the first episode, we talked about sort of like basic things about flute lessons. In the second episode, we delved more into flute techniques and skills. And in last week's episode, we talked about the flute as the flute itself, what it's made of, how it makes a sound, what are some good models, how to maintain it. And so today we are rounding off our series by debunking some common flute myths, it's hard to say that word, that perhaps you might unconsciously believe. And so we're here to bring you the truth. And so we've got, I think, 7 different common myths that we're going to just like talk through and hopefully change your mind about some of them. So we're going to get right into it with the first myth, which is the flute is just for girls. True or false?
Definitely false.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of girls play the flute because it is a very pretty instrument, and just because it's pretty doesn't mean that guys can't play it. Yeah, flute has a long legacy of male virtuosos such as Sir James Galway and Emmanuel Parhood, which are probably like the 2 best flautists up there. And yeah, music is for everyone. It isn't just a girl's instrument.
Yeah, I agree. So there you go. Just if you have a boy who wants to learn flute, like, go for it. It's not, just because it seems like lots of girls play it doesn't mean that boys shouldn't. And I definitely see the same in harp. I think it's just maybe because it's a high register instrument. I don't know if that's like a feminine, it just sounds more like feminine, and so, you know, maybe more girls are drawn to it, but yeah, it's obviously not a gender specific instrument. And same in harp, they are also like very not talented because they put in the work, but some very famous harpists, not just in the past but currently are male, like, so yeah, gender doesn't define what instrument you should play. So the flute is just for girls is
false.
Okay, so the second myth is that you need big hands or long fingers to play the flute.
I would say that is a myth. I would say that is false. Smaller hands shouldn't be a problem because on a professional flute you can have open holes, so my fingers can actually reach all the keys, but if you've got small hands you can get closed hole flutes, so you don't actually have to cover the holes. So yeah, that would definitely fit. And yeah, flutes are designed to fit young players. You've got flutes with curved head joints, so that if you can't reach all the way to the keys, it just brings it in here. So yeah, even those with small hands can play it. It's just about proper positioning. It's not really about hand size.
Yeah, that's a good point. So myth number 2 is false also.
Mhm.
And actually, I think, yeah, it's lots of similarities with the harp. I think also people think you need long arms or you need to be tall to play the harp because it's a tall instrument. But I've met there's a very famous Australian harpist called Alice Giles, and she's like, compared to me anyway, she's like considerably shorter, but like that doesn't stop her from being a virtuoso on the harp. So like, yeah, the size doesn't really matter. You just, as you said, like you make adjustments, or you just get an instrument that like suits your size, rather than thinking that it's not an instrument you can play because of your physical limitations, which are only limitations if you believe in this myth. Great. Number 3 is that the flute is an easy instrument to learn. Why is that? Is that true or is that false?
I would say it's false.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no instrument's easy to learn.
No instrument is easy to learn. I agree with that.
Some may be easier than others,
Mm-hmm.
but no instrument is easy to learn. It may look simple, but producing a really clean tone and having a good technique is extremely difficult to master. Unlike piano or string instruments, where you like hear a sound straight away that's in tune, and you just push a button. Flute players have to create their sound, using air, lip control, using their lungs, their diaphragm. Yeah, it takes a lot of time and practice.
Were you surprised? Like, were you expecting flute to be easier than it is? Or has it like met your challenge, your expectations of how it will, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think probably all musicians would say this is like, it's easy to like learn, but to like get really, really good at it is obviously sort of a lifelong journey. So yeah, the flute is not necessarily an easy instrument to learn, and I think people have that belief because obviously when you listen to a flute player, they just make it sound easy, and
you don't realize like the work they must have put into that.
Yeah, and also maybe it's like a common-ish instrument. I think when people come to me for harp lessons, they always ask like, "Oh, is it hard?" Because they don't really see many people playing it, so they just assume, and maybe it's not played much because it's so hard, and they don't realize that actually it's so easy. No. Yeah, so that's interesting. Do you have any like other thoughts why people might think that flute is so easy?
Well, yeah, like everyone plays it.
Yeah, everyone plays it.
It's common.
It's common.
And it's offered at most schools.
Offered at most schools, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Maybe also the fact that what term did you use? Monotone? Monophonic. Oh, okay. So that means it just plays single notes other than the multi. What was it called?
Polyphonic.
Yeah, other than that. Yeah. So I think that's one reason people think it's easy. It's just like, oh, I just have to play one note. Whereas on the harp we can play up to 8 notes. Piano 10 notes because we have 5 fingers. So yeah, that's probably something that I thought it was like, oh, like flute. Oh, you just play that one note. You just have like one line of music, so it's like so easy. Harp music is complex to read, especially pedal harp, because you have treble clef, bass clef, and then you have a line for your feet that tells you what pedals you need to change. So there's like 3 different lines we have to read simultaneously. Yeah. So sorry, this is a bit going off topic, but with flute music, so you just learn the fingering for every note, and so then when you have the sheet music, you just know exactly what fingering to use.
Yeah.
And then eventually it would tell you like specific techniques, like the fluttering tongue or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, if you rarely get asked a flutter tongue, it'll say flutter tongue.
Okay, flute myth number 4. you have to have strong lungs to play the flute.
I would say that's also a myth. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to start with powerful lungs, but you definitely build them.
Mm-hmm.
And just like building the capacity of your lungs. I'm very advantaged because I'm very tall. I have big lungs, so I can hold a lot of air, so I don't need to take breaths that often. But I still have to take breaths. But yeah, you build the strength and control as you go. Flute is about air efficiency, not lung capacity. So like how you use your air. And yeah, good breath control is a learned skill. And flute helps develop that gradually.
So is lung capacity like a separate thing to breath control? Like, can you work on like, oh, today I'm gonna just like do some exercises to like increase my lung capacity? Is that a thing? No. But is that like a thing like, oh, I'm gonna do some exercises to improve my breath control?
Yeah.
Ah.
Lung capacity is like, yeah, just how much you can hold.
And is that specific to like individuals? Like,
yeah, like if you do swimming, you have to have a pretty good lung capacity.
Yeah.
Mm.
And do you have to like take big breath? Like, is flute all about how you take the breaths kind of thing?
Well, where you take the breaths is very important because you don't want to break up phrases.
Yeah.
But yeah, how you take the breaths, you don't want to like gasp for air during the middle of a nice piece. But yeah, how and when you take the breaths are very important.
And do you like take different like types of breath? Like maybe if it's like a fast song, you have to take like small breaths,
Yeah,
or like is it always like trying to take like as much air in as you can?
Well, in the Vivaldi Piccolo Concerto, I'm pretty sure it's called snatch breathing, where you literally like there's no way to breathe at all, so you just need to like really quickly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you know how many notes we have to play in one breath?
How many notes to play? Depends
in
on
one.
fast.
For that piece.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't learned it properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so yeah, like I did a bit of singing and I realized that the quality of the breath that I was taking like was really bad, and it only took me years to figure it out. And then yeah, I was like surprised. I was just like breathing from my chest maybe rather than like from my belly. And so I don't know if that's a thing for flute, like you just
it's like thinking about where the air goes.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Yeah, so and is that like, so is breath control, yeah, so something that has to be, practiced?
Yes, definitely. Well, if you've got bad breath control, you can't produce a nice fast air or like controlled air, like focused air. You need your air to be focused to make a good sound.
And what happens to the sound if like the air is like too slow when you blow it?
Well, either the note won't come out or it will just sound really bad. It'll sound crushed and fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyway, that totally went off topic, but the myth we were discussing was if you have to have strong lungs to play the flute, and we have decided that it's false. Because it's not, well, we talked about how like your lungs will get stronger, but also it's more about breath control. Cool. Okay, we've got three more?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
You should start on the recorder before learning the flute.
Oh, we did sort of talk about this in the previous episode, but let's go back to this one. So you should start on the recorder. What would you say?
Oh, it's helpful, but it's not essential. You can learn how to read sheet music by playing the recorder. That'll be helpful. It's also a wind instrument. Also good for hand-eye coordination. But yeah, plenty of kids just start on the flute. And especially with the good support from a teacher. But yeah, recorders teach the basics, but they definitely aren't required. Because you can just start on flute.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Mm.
Number 6 is the flute isn't versatile. It's only for classical music. So is that true or false?
That is false. So flute is very often seen in classical music, but it can also be seen in pop and jazz. So yeah, we talked about jazz earlier. This jazz flute is just like learning the flute a completely different way, and yeah, it's a very flexible instrument.
And what about in pop? Like even Celtic music also? Oh, yeah, I think Celtic music, like Irish music, probably have flute in it.
Oh yeah.
What about who's that like very famous? Have you heard of Lizzo?
Yeah,
Is that
Lizzo? Yeah. She plays the flute. She's got a gold flute.
She's got a gold flute.
And yeah, she does integrate her flute into her pop songs.
Because I actually haven't. I have to say I haven't heard any of Lizzo's music. I think she's become famous because people are like, oh look, she's playing like a classical instrument and integrating that into her like pop songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people sometimes feel a bit limited by tradition. So it's nice when you have artists who like do something a bit more interesting. So jazz, folk, pop, rock music. Have you ever heard flute in rock music?
I can't say that I have, but it's probably out there.
Yeah, and probably like, say if you play in an orchestra or in a band, you might have arrangements of rock music, in which case there would be a flute in it. So there might not be like the flute in like the original versions, but certainly you would be able to still play songs on those in those styles, either by arranging it yourself or someone else arranging it for flute or for some kind of ensemble with flute in it. Great. And then our final myth. What's our final myth? Oh, I like this one.
It's too loud for practice at home. Okay, so flute is one of the quieter instruments, but when you really develop your sound, it gets loud. But that will take years to develop a big sound. The excerpt I played here, Petrushka, that was very loud, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite loud.
But yeah, in the early stages, it will be very soft because they're just trying to get a sound, and then really producing and projecting that sound, that takes a while. But yeah, it is good. Like your parents won't be bothered at the start by the volume.
Does the sound get louder the higher the pitch that you produce? Because like you have, is it like, I don't know if this is true. Like you have to use more air to produce high sounds?
You need to use faster air to produce
faster air. So does that like make the sound also get louder?
Well, when you play higher notes, they do. I don't know if I should say they do come out louder, because I don't think they do. It's like when you just play a scale, you need to like. Oh my god, how do I explain this? It will sound louder, but like you need to work to make it not sound so loud. So like your scale will sound even. Yeah,
that's interesting. Because I think I don't know where I'm getting this notion that like playing higher means it's gonna get louder.
Yeah, like well,
I don't know if I'm just
low
like
on the flute.
I don't know if
it's very hard to play loud. So it'll naturally sound like this. But if I really like project. And if I play like a really high note, it's easier to play high notes loud and it's harder to play high notes soft.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so that is sort of what I was trying to,
Mm-hmm.
in a very bad way, that's what I was trying to say. It's as you said, it's harder to get high notes softer,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's also hard to get the low notes louder. Yeah. Okay,
That's it.
that's actually what I was trying to say. Okay, but overall the flute is not, especially in the early stages, it's not a very loud
Well,
instrument.
yeah, like compared to like a trombone or like
Mm-hmm.
drums or an electric guitar.
Or even piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, piano's quite loud.
It's
Are there any ways of making the flute like quieter? Like, can you put like a cloth in it and it sort of like muffles the sound a little? No.
Just playing quieter.
Yeah, just playing quieter.
Mm.
I suppose if you find that the flute is too loud, all you can do is add some like room.
Yeah.
Adapt the room.
Yeah.
Like adding a rug can deaden the sound a little bit, and that's how you would make it a bit quieter if you find that the flute is too loud for practice at home.
Yeah, I often have to wear earplugs because some of the stuff I play is quite loud and very high. Because it's also a very good idea to get earplugs.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
And definitely
is that
for the flow.
Is that for just for the players or also for family members?
Oh, just for me. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, there we go. These are our 7 flute myths. Were there any that I missed?
That was all.
Okay, cool. Because I don't really know that much about flute, but I've definitely learned a lot. I hope that you have as well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks again for coming in and sharing all your amazing flute knowledge with us ignorant ones. It's been really fun. If you, as I mentioned at the start, if you haven't heard the other 3 episodes, just make sure that you give them a listen. So we just talked everything about the flute. Book your free trial lesson if you're listening to this and it's still June, as we are offering free trial lessons this month. Get in touch with us by sending us a DM on Instagram. What's our handle? Music Makers Academy. Very simple. You can send an email. The address is hello@musicmakersacademy.com.au, or you can just leave a comment on YouTube and we'll be sure to reply to you. Alright, so that's it. I will be speaking to you in the next episode. So for now, thank you, Jensen, and I'm sure we'll speak to you some other time if we receive any flute questions from our audience. Alright, thanks for tuning in and we'll speak to you next time. Bye!